So on today's episode, we're going to take a little departure from shooting some guns to talk about off-grid power and show you how I built this little thing here. Try to make this as short as possible. I'm going to go through all the steps, hopefully give you an idea of why I did it the way I did it. But let's take a look at some of the steps to get to here. Okay, so before we actually get started on it, what you should do is do some sort of small little basic package here of how this is going to lay out, your map, if you will. I guess I could use a computer program, but hey, we're rednecks, so we use a really nice Sharpie and a piece of wood. So the basic concept is this. Your solar panel is going to be what provides the charge that recharges your battery or keeps it charged, and your battery is going to provide power. Pretty basic, but there's a couple of steps in between that the nerds have told me that I need, so I'm going to follow their advice. One, we need a charge controller, so I guess your panel could probably overcharge your battery, so we don't want that blowing it up, causing problems. So the panel goes into a charge controller, which I'll show you in a second, and the charge controller controls how much charge goes into the battery, when it needs to be charged, etc. And then from the battery, if you want actual usable like household power, you should probably, if you don't know the difference between alternating current and direct current, then probably stop now and figure that out. But your house has alternating current, your car has direct current. So what we need is we need to convert, this is direct current from a battery. We need to convert our direct current into alternating current so we can power household items. Okay, so here's our Craftsman box. Got the two metal latches. Seems like it's decent quality. I think it was like 60 or 70 bucks. But the floor of it is a little flimsy. I'm not a huge fan of that. The battery weighs quite a bit, so I went ahead and cut a piece of plywood. And we're gonna set down on the bottom of it. We're gonna put our battery on top of that. But I wanna kind of secure the battery because as you tilt this back, it wants to move around. The battery's got a lot of mass to it. It moves around a lot. So let's get our battery mounted to this. Okay, so now we got our battery moved back. So now I can fit this in here. So now you need to figure out exactly where you want things to sit before you go making holes and doing all the kinds of other things. So, all right, so I got everything installed. Got the inverter right there. There's our charge controller. See on the outside how we did it. And before you start talking about water tightness, that's why silicone caulking exists. Right under the handle there. So, put the battery back in, start wiring this thing up, kind of show you how we do it. Okay, so I got some 12-AWG wire here. Again, link will be in the description. Got a screwdriver, charge controller. So, I'm going to take our 12-AWG wire, which I stripped off one end. Back out this screw, positive screw. All right, get the battery set back in here, get these cut to length, go from there. All right, so I've got our battery set back in here, got our battery terminal connectors on there, so I went and marked the positive just in case I get screwed up, because actually it's blocking where I have the terminals blocking the positive. So instead of relying on my memory, which kind of sucks, got that. Make sure you get these cables out of the way because this is live. These touch, well, you have a problem. So one of the things I'm going to do too is I'm going to put in a fuse here, just an extra layer of safety. So I have these solar connector cables that I bought 2 packs. So they come fully assembled. You cut one end off so you can put it into our solar panel connector. But instead of putting the battery back and forth in and out, I'm going to go ahead and attach these. All right, so I figured out where I want the holes on this. What I'm going to do is I'm going to run the hole for our solar cables. These guys. Just going to run a hole straight through here, straight in. So now we're ready to actually hook up our solar panel. So I'm gonna. All right, so we are hooked up, and we are battery is low and the sun is low, but we are pushing a little charge. So I'll have to charge this up tomorrow afternoon or morning whenever the sun comes back out. But there's our connections in the front. So for our solar, and this is really where the freedom kind of comes from. So you can see the sun is very low. It is about 5 o'clock. So tomorrow I will get this battery charged up. Our inverter does come on, but then it quickly pops off and says low voltage. Just fine because our battery's low. But we are charging. So got the panel set up. It's been charging the battery. Had to make some few minor adjustments, which I'll show you. But we are charging. Got our cables, everything's good to go. Battery's inside, everything seems fine. But I need power. I want power on the outside unit, that way I can keep this closed and weather tight. So, got these little outside outlets here that I'm gonna install. I think I'm gonna install this one on the back. We'll kind of go from there. Plug is installed. We're out of the case. We have power. Cool. I've got all the power off, but you don't want these two wires touching. So this is our power in from our solar panels. This is what's going to convert our power to usable alternating current to our power inverter. And you don't want these two things to touch. So what I came up with is something I do all the time when I need a washer. And you can't use a metal washer, obviously. So use a piece of tubing. Just rubber, normal tubing. Pull that back together. And we attach it. One of the good things is it provides, it being rubber, provides constant tension on there. You can't really over tighten it, plus it's an insulator. So how do you get it? Well, pretty simple. Take some automotive tubing. It's 3/8 inch tubing. Got these fancy cutters that I got as a Christmas present years ago. Take your tubing. Obviously, you can cut it to the length that you need. And this, don't need a whole lot. Just take it, squeeze it in there. Cut it off. Now you have a rubber washer. It passed inspection.